What is fear? Have you ever stopped to truly feel the weight of it? That low-grade anxiety humming beneath the surface of your life? The sudden dread of the future? The inexplicable guilt about the past? What if that fear isn't yours? What if it was installed? What if it's a weapon? The title of this video is not a theory. It is a diagnosis. The origin of human fear. The Gnostic Secret. The Archons invented to control your mind. For millennia, we have been taught to fear God, to fear sin, to fear death. We were taught that we were born in debt, stained by original sin, and that the only way out was blind obedience to an external authority. But in 1945, in Egypt, a farmer stumbled upon a clay jar, and what was inside changed everything. The Nag Hammadi library. This is our central premise today. What did the Church suppress about the origin of human fear? The very existence of this library. Because it is the Gnostic Secret. Texts with names like the Hypostasis of the Archons, which means the reality of the rulers, are not mythology. They are what the Church tried to burn. They are the technical manual for our prison. These texts detail, with chilling clarity, exactly how the Archons invented an illusion to trap the divine spark, the shard of God that exists inside you. And fear. Fear is the leash. This suppressed truth was hunted, burned and buried, precisely because it nullifies the most powerful tool they have, to control your mind. The promise of salvation from the very fear they perpetuate. They created the poison, and then they sold the antidote. Gnosis, knowledge, is reading the map of this prison and realizing you are not a prisoner. You are an escape agent from the pleroma, the fullness from which we were stolen. If you are here, you are not seeking. You are remembering. And today, we are going to decode the jailer's manual, the architecture of fear, the gospel of the prison. To understand the secret, you must first understand the prison they built to hide it. You were taught about the Gospel of John. It is the cornerstone of modern faith, and it is a masterpiece of psychological control. It whispers, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." It sounds comforting until you read the rest. Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe is condemned already. There it is. It's not an invitation, it's a threat. This is the prison architecture. It's the first layer of the Archon program. It establishes the central rule. Salvation is outside of you. Truth is outside of you. And if you do not accept this external savior, your alternative is eternal fear, condemnation. This is the voice of the demiurge, the blind, false god the Gnostics described in Nag Hammadi. A lesser craftsman who, in his arrogance and ignorance, believes he is the only God. He cannot create light, so he demands obedience through darkness. He cannot inspire gnosis, inner knowledge, so he enforces pistis, blind faith. The Gospel of John, when read this way, becomes the perfect control tool. It takes your innate power, your divine spark, and tells you it is worthless without his validation. He invents the disease of condemnation and then sells the cure of submission. And this programming didn't stay in antiquity. It is the template for nearly every control system in your life. Think of modern power structures. The corporate world that says, follow our career path or face poverty. The educational system that says, memorize our answers or be labeled a failure. The medical complex that often says, trust our external authority or fear for your life. Think of hustle culture itself. It is an archontic dogma. It convinces you that your worth is not inherent in your divine spark. Your worth is measured by your output for the demiurge's system. To rest is sin. Exhaustion is a virtue. It is the same program of salvation through sacrifice from John, repackaged for the industrial age. Any system that places authority outside of you, that demands your faith in exchange for safety, is running the same Archon program. They take your power and sell it back to you at a premium. And how do we break it? We start with a micro-rebellion. Pause for a moment. Breathe. Feel the weight of all the external authorities in your life. The shoulds and have-tos. Feel the subtle pressure to conform, to believe, to obey. Now, in your mind, just for a second, withdraw your consent. Just observe them. Realize they are programs running, not truths. You don't have to fight them. You just have to see them for what they are. The first key of Gnosis is observation. The evidence of the jailers. The hypostasis of the Archons. Now we go to the heart of the darkness. The text they tried to erase. The hypostasis of the Archons. The reality of the rulers. This text is the technical manual our premise promised. It doesn't speak in vague terms of Hammadi, Onanbine, Sintwind of demons. It describes a cosmogony. It describes an infestation. It tells us that the Archons, the rulers, are not all-powerful. They are accidents. Their leader, the demiurge, Yaldabaoth, is described as being born in shadow, outside the pleroma. He is arrogant, ignorant, and blind. His first declaration is, "I am God, and there is no other." But the text tells us he is wrong. He looks down into matter, and he sees the reflection of the pleroma's light, an echo of Sophia's wisdom, shining in humanity. He sees your divine spark, and he does not understand it. So he envies it. This is the origin of human fear. It was not sin, it was envy. The text describes how the Archons, led by their blind chief, decide to trap this light. They cannot create it, so they decide to control it. They say, "Let us create man in our image," but it's a counterfeit. They cannot grant life. They can only build a prison for the life that is already there. They build the physical body, the prison of the soul. But it's their psychological tool that is the most brilliant. They give us a gift, the gift of fear. Fear is their software, the fear of death, the fear of scarcity, the fear of being alone, the fear of your own insignificance. Fear is the static they use to drown out the voice of your divine spark. It is the illusion invented to control your mind. They are frequency parasites. They feed on the low vibrational energy of your dread. This is not ancient history. This is your newsfeed. Look at the device in your hand. Look at the endless stream of social media. It is the perfect Archon machine. It induces envy, seeing the filtered lives of others. It creates illusion, curated realities. It demands sacrifice, your attention, your time, your light. And, above all, it optimizes for rage and fear. The algorithm that shows you outrageous content to keep you scrolling, that algorithm is an Archon. It is a soulless program, running the demiurge's code, designed to harvest your emotional energy for the profit of a blind system. The anxiety, the depression, the polarization are just engagement metrics to them. It's not just the timeline. It's the gamification of your life. It's the credit system, visible or invisible. It's the obsession with numbers, followers, likes, bank balance, that convinces you your value is an external metric. This is the hypostasis of the Archons in action. They have turned your divine spark into a score. This is modern warfare. It is not for land. It is for your mind. So, let's do another micro-practice. Right now, become aware of the device you are using. Feel the weight of it. Notice the light from the screen. Are you holding it, or is it holding you? Take a deep breath, and mentally claim your sovereignty over this piece of glass and metal. Tell yourself, you are a tool. I am the user. You will not harvest my light unless I choose. Feel the click of your consciousness returning to center. You are in control, not the scroll. The Gospel of Remembrance, the Code of Thomas. So, we have the prison of dogma, as seen in John, and we have the jailer's manual, the hypostasis of the Archons. Where is the escape map? The Church gave us John, but they buried Thomas. The Gospel of Thomas, also found at Nag Hammadi, is the pure antithesis of the Gospel of John. It is the antivirus for the Archon program. Why was it suppressed? Because it is dangerous to anyone trying to control you. John says, "Believe in me to be saved." Thomas, in saying 3, says, "The kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you." When you come to know yourselves, then you will be known. But if you do not know yourselves, you dwell in poverty, and you are that poverty. There is no external savior. There is no condemnation. There is only knowing or forgetting. The Archons invented fear to control your mind. Because they are terrified, you will come to know yourself. They have created a vast architecture of noise to keep you distracted. The noise of dogmatic religion, the noise of media, the noise of your own anxious thoughts, which are just the echo of their program. The Gospel of Thomas is a radical call to rebellion through inner silence. In saying 77, Jesus says, "I am the light that is over all. I am the all. From me the all came forth, and to me the all reached. Split a piece of wood. I am there. Lift the stone, and you will find me there." The divine spark is not on a throne in heaven. It is at your center. It is in the wood. It is under the stone. It is here now. Fear is the illusion that you are separate from this source. Gnosis is the remembrance that you are the source. They do not want you to know this. They do not want you to realize you need no intermediary. Let's do our last micro-practice before we learn the rebellion. Close your eyes, if you can, or just soften your gaze and listen. Not just with your ears. Listen to the space between the sounds. Listen to the silence underneath the hum of your world. There is a stillness there. Even if it's for just a microsecond, it exists. That stillness is the signature of your divine spark. It is the pleroma calling from beneath the archontic static. Your job is not to create this stillness. It is only to notice it. It is already there, waiting. The Rebellion of Reading, a manual for escape. So, how do we get out? The premise gave us the key. The action of rebellion is reading, but not in the way you were taught. We are not reading for entertainment. We are not reading for history. We are reading as an act of spiritual warfare. We are reading for resistance intelligence. When you open the Nag Hammadi texts, you are deactivating the Archon program word by word. Here is how you do it, as a detailed practice. This is the technology of the soul. Step 1. The act of seeking. The first step is your intent. By seeking these texts, the hypostasis of the Archons, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Truth, you are declaring to the Matrix, I no longer consent to your story. You are actively seeking the other narrative, the suppressed truth. The simple act of downloading a PDF or buying the book is a declaration of sovereignty. Do not underestimate this. It is a ritual. You are saying no to the jailer's library and yes to the resistance diary. Step 2. Read as a decoder, not a believer. Do not read these texts as a new Bible. That is just swapping one dogma for another. You are not looking for a new master. You are looking for a mirror. When you read the description of the demiurge, arrogant, blind, jealous, do not see him as a distant cosmic monster. See him as the personification of your own programmed ego. The voice in your head that says, "I am better," or "I am not good enough." That is the Archon voice. When you read the Gospel of Truth, and it speaks of the nightmare of forgetfulness, do not read it as an allegory. Ask yourself, what nightmares am I living? The nightmare of the soulless job, the nightmare of debt, the nightmare of a lifeless relationship. The texts are giving you diagnostics. When you read about the Archons feeding on fear, observe your own anxiety. Ask, who is benefiting from this feeling? I am not. So, who is? Step 3. Identify the virus in real time. As you read, you will gain a new language. You will begin to see the patterns. You will see the Archon of guilt surfacing when you try to rest. You will see the Archon of scarcity screaming when you pay your bills. You will see the Archon of distraction pulling you into the infinite scroll when you have a quiet moment. The Gospel of Thomas says, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." Naming the program is bringing it forth. Give them names. The Archon that whispers, "You don't have enough time." The Archon that insists, "You need permission." The act of naming is the first act of sovereignty. It is the beam of light that makes the parasite recoil. Step 4. The conscious starvation. This is the payoff. The Archons feed on your reactive, unconscious fear. They cannot digest consciousness. When you feel the fear rising, the tightness in your chest, the racing mind, and you recognize it for what it is, the Archon program, the invented illusion, you do not have to fight it. You do not have to suppress it. You just see it. You name it, and you do not feed it. This is an active process. Feel the tightness in your chest. Instead of reacting, running to distraction, lashing out, giving in, you lean into it with your awareness. I see you. Fear of scarcity. You observe it without judgment. You disarm it by refusing to be pulled into its reaction. You starve the Archon. This is conscious starvation. This is the rebellion. If this knowledge survived 1,600 years of suppression buried in the desert, what chance does your programmed fear have against it? Once you shine your light on it, the veil is thinning. What was buried is coming to light. The journey we took today was from the paranoia of the prison, the dogma of John, the fear of the Archons, to the sovereignty of Gnosis, the escape map of Thomas. Those clay jars in Nag Hammadi didn't just protect papyrus. They protected a frequency, a truth so potent it outlasted empires that tried to erase it. That same indestructible frequency is sealed inside your own spiritual DNA. The origin of human fear was their secret. But your divine spark is yours. They invented the leash. But you carry the key. The work now is collective. What you reflect, you activate in others. This channel, this community, is a place for that activation. If this transmission resonated with your spark, share your reflections in the comments. What fear in your life do you now recognize as invented? Your gnosis may be the key for someone else. The rebellion is remembrance. If you want to continue on this journey of decoding with us, Subscribe and join this community of sovereign minds. You have gone from paranoia to sovereignty. You have seen the prison manual. The only question left is, now that you know the door has always been unlocked, will you dare to walk through it? Will you choose to remember?